Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20-question mock test and answer any questions that you may have about your theory training, driving lessons, driving test, anything related to driving, to be honest. But I do ask, when you do ask a question, please put a Q semicolon in the comments. It just makes it a lot easier for me to find so I don't miss it. Then I don't get people getting upset with me because I missed their question, because it looks like a comment otherwise. When there's no Q. And it's easier for me to find it as well. So if you have typed it in and I didn't see it, you don't have to type it twice because I can search for it just with the Q. So hopefully everybody's had a decent week so far. Let me just make sure all my windows are set when we are going out live. Yeah, I think I'm good to go. Right, so let's go to this scene. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to the live session. Test on Wednesday. So you test on Wednesday. Well, I wish you the best of luck on that. A bit shaky though, but trying to calm my nerves being here. What are you shaky on? If you've got any questions, type them in. Let us know. So I just need to do something quickly. Because my head's cut off, that should be... so you can see the top of my head. Yeah, let me know what you're shaky on. I can answer any questions for you live, your personal question. That's why I go live, so you can ask personal questions. You don't have to search YouTube for the answer. The nerves, you're always going to be nervous. That's life with any test that you take. You just got to make sure you control the nerves. The nerves don't control you, because once the nerves control you, you got a bit of a problem. I'm not saying you can't pass with being the nerves controlling you, but there's less risk, less chance of it. So just try to stay calm, be positive, take deep breaths on the day between questions if you feel that you need it. So if you feel panicked, not sure what the answer is, my advice is, don't know what the answer is, just flag it, move on. And the reason why I say that, because if you only flag in 2 or 3 and you're confident with the 47 that you didn't flag, then you're passing anyway. But obviously if you flagged 8 or 9 or more, you know you need to get the majority of the 8 or 9 correct, because obviously if you got all 8 wrong, then you're going to fail the test. I would flag as you go, and then the time remaining, you can divide up against the questions that you flagged up. So I wouldn't answer any questions when you feel a little bit stressed, because the brain is telling you it's not comfortable. It'll just pick an answer to get out of that stressful state. So flag, move on, go back, break it down in small chunks. On Wednesday, I would arrive. I tell my students to arrive half an hour, 45 minutes early. Why? So you're not stressing, running back traffic, getting there 5 minutes before the test is due, running in stressed about getting there. And also, you're supposed to be there 15 minutes before, that's what it says on the email. But if you arrive early, don't stick around staying outside, pacing up and down, doing mock tests outside. What you want to do, if you arrive early, go in and say, look, I'm early for my test. My test is but I am early. If they've got space, they get you in. They don't like empty seats. The test is an hour, 20 minutes in total. No one takes the full hour, 20 minutes. As soon as someone comes out, they like to get someone in. So, like I said, don't stick around outside pacing up, and especially doing mock tests beforehand, because if the mock test doesn't go according to plan and you fail it, you're already going in there with doubts. And I'll be honest with you, if you don't know it by then, you doing it 5 minutes before the test ain't going to change anything. But I wish you luck with that. Please come back next week and let us know how you got on. Again, if you've got any questions, feel free to type them in. D, good morning to you. Welcome. Happy Sunday to you. West Wickham. Wow. It seems far away, but it's not, believe it or not. I was having a conversation with my student the other day. She's got one for November. And when you actually work out the amount of lessons and what she's got left to do to be ready for the test, it isn't a lot. So I don't know where you're at with your driving, whether you are ready and then you have to wait till December, or you're going to be ready for December, but it's not that far away. Oh, yeah, that's the one you're going to travel really far to. But I'm assuming West Wickham's a lot closer to you. West Wickham's an all right test, to be fair. But I wish you luck with that. I'm new made. First of all, thank you, friend. I appreciate you guys sharing the channel amongst your friends, family, because the channel still continues to grow, even though I'm not putting videos out every single week. And the only reason why I'm not putting videos out every single week is because I haven't got the time to make them. But as I go live every week anyway, it's a chance for you to come on live and ask questions. Dual carriageways and motorways are the same thing. The definition of a dual carriageway is a central reservation in the middle, otherwise known as a crash barrier, so it splits the carriageway. So there's no way you can go on the other side because there's a something in the middle. So dual carriageway and motorways are the same thing, same speed limit, 70 miles an hour for cars, 60 for towing vehicles and heavy goods vehicles. The difference, if they ask you the question, is the lanes. So on the dual carriageway, the right-hand lane is for overtaking and turning right. And for the motorway, the right-hand lane is just for overtaking, but everything else is the same. So far I've done 4 lessons. When you say 4 lessons, is that 4 lessons as in 4 separate lessons, like 4 hours? So one for 1 hours, or 4 lessons as in 4 times 2? Because when I teach, is 2 hours at a time. Because it does make a difference what you're saying. Because if it's 4 lessons, that means it's 4 hours. If it's 4 lessons times 2, that's 8 hours. Because we know when we teach, we talk in terms of hours, not lessons. As instructors, when I say we, by the way. So you're at the beginning of your journey. Even if that's 8 hours, 4 times 2 is 8 hours. And your test is in December. What will be August next week? August, September, October, December. Depends what part of December. So you're talking about, let's call it 4.5 months. Oh, that's going to be touch and go if you're ready for December. Not to scare you, if you're doing 2 hours a week, average learner, that's going to be touch and go for December. But your instructor will guide you along the way. I'm tired, fell twice now. You're no different from the average person. The average person takes 3.3 test to pass, based on the government stats. So most people have to take 3.3 theory tests before they pass. So you're 2. The question you got to ask yourself is why you're failing, and you got paperwork. That's what I call it, data. Look at the data, and that will tell you where you. Tell you the start of where you're going wrong. But I'll be honest with you, the more I do this and the more I'm seeing the stats and what people are failing on, it's lack of knowledge. You guys are still studying the app as it's like it's gospel, and then when you go for the real test and they change the question, the wording, and change the answers, you guys are lost. What you got to learn is why. First of all, you got to think about the reword. I've got something coming out on Wednesday, another video coming out Wednesday. So keep a tune on that. And it's a download guide which you guys can use to help you find the why. So look out for that video, hopefully Wednesday, and it's a downloaded guide you can use while you're studying. But anyway, the point I'm making is you need to find out why the answer is correct. So when they reword it differently, it doesn't make a difference because you understand the why, which means they can word it any way they want. The understanding is still there. But you guys are going in there into the test, not understanding the why. You're just going in and knowing what the answer is. That's 2 different things. Just because you know what the answer is based on the app, it doesn't mean that you're going to know what the answer is when they word the question differently or word the answer differently. But when you understand the why is correct, then you're well into passing. I do 2 hours per lesson. So 4 lessons, 2 hours, 8 hours. It's still going to be touch and go. Like I said, tell you what, I don't know. So I don't want to scare you or anything like that, but just be aware, 2 hours a week, and your instructor will guide you on this. But let me know what you did on your last lesson. Because if you just started out on your journey, and 4 lessons in, that's 8 hours. So let me know what you did on your last lesson. I'm struggling with hazards. I'm assuming you mean hazard perception. Miriam, sorry, let me introduce. Good morning, Miriam, and welcome to the channel. Hazards is I'll say it's the easiest part. I know you're struggling, and I don't want to downplay that. But in my experience, when someone struggles with hazard because they don't know what a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. Once you understand that, on every video it's the same. Different hazards, but you're still looking for the same problem. What's going to cause me to slow down? What's going to change me to change direction? And then click. I will do a demonstration at the end of the 20 questions. Oh, week before Christmas. Schools break up around about the 22nd. I can't remember what West Wickham's like, whether it's a shopping era, because then you're going to have Christmas shoppers out. It also depends on what time. See, that's how a driving instructor thinks, the time of day, the time of the month, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. But yeah, your instructor will guide you on that. Trustwork, good morning to you. Welcome. Just wanted to let you know. Sanjay, I don't know what you're letting me know, but hopefully you type it in, or maybe it's further down the comment section. But welcome to the channel, by the way. 70 miles an hour, car 60 miles off. No. See, it's the way you're wording it. It's 70 miles. Always know what you can do. That's how I explain in the study camp. That's the first thing. Know what you can do. Why? Because you're taking a car theory test. So always see it through a car driver's eyes. So yes, 70 miles an hour for cars, not 60 miles an hour for other vehicles. Other vehicles, what you're saying is motorbikes, vans, lorries, that type of thing. It's 60 miles an hour for heavy goods, vehicles, and trailers. End of. Vans can still do 70 if they're small enough. So don't say other vehicles. It is heavy goods vehicles and your towing vehicles. It's 60 miles an hour. I did 2 days a week, so 4 hours. Oh, you're laughing. All right, that's fine. That changes the whole thing. Then you should be ready, even with the average learner doing that a week. So let me just double check that. 4 hours a week. 4 weeks, 4, 8, 12, 16, 32, 48. Yes, you should be ready for that. Okay. All right, let me do the overview quickly. Precious, good morning to you. Studied with you 3 years ago. I passed that once. Thanks a lot. No problem. You're welcome. Hopefully you passed your driving test in that time. Otherwise it would have expired. Talking about expiry, look, here we go. My theory test expired. I booked one next month. All right, let me do the overview first, and then we can crack on with the 20 question mock test, because that's why you guys are here. Right, multiple choice. The test is 50 questions. Most of you should know that by now, if not all of you. It's made up of 14 different categories. So you don't know how your test is going to be made up. The questions are random. So it's not the same test for any two people. It's different. So if there's 10 of you in the room, it's 10 different 50 set of questions going on. And that's the reason why I suggest you do categories first, because you don't know how your test is going to be made up. So if you was weak on road signs, for example, it may be possible that you get 5 or 6 road signs, which means you may get 5 or 6 questions wrong. So you're already up against it. The other thing I will add with this, and I keep saying this, and I still get emails about this, the questions on the app are sampled questions. Let me say that again. The questions on the app are sample questions, a taster to give you what the questions could be like on the real test. So you start to think about the safety outcome, because that's what you're looking for, a safe answer, or a controlled outcome, because that's your driving test is based on safety and control. The theory test answers are based on safety and control. So when you go for the real test, the questions may be worded slightly differently, the answers may be worded slightly differently, or the questions you may have never ever seen before, because the app is 774 questions last time I checked, probably a bit more now. But when you go for the real test, they have a database between 1,500 and 2,000 questions. So there's going to be, like I said, another 700-800 questions that you have never ever seen before, which you may get. And that's where you guys are going wrong. You study the app thinking, right, I know what the answer is, I know what the answer is, I know what the answer is. You go there, they change the wording, or the answer you're looking for isn't there. They just worded it a totally different way. And that's where you guys fail. So time wise, you've got 57 minutes. I would suggest you take as long as it takes. Some of you are still going in there doing it in 15-20 minutes, failing and saying, I don't know why I studied, I've got 48 at home, blah blah blah. If you're going to do a test in 15-20 minutes that's supposed to last about 57 minutes, the chances are you're going to come out with a fail. Can you pass in 15-20 minutes? Yes, you can. Are the chances high if you're doing that? No, the stats prove it. As I just mentioned, it takes 3.3 attempts to pass the theory test. Part of that reason is because students are going in there doing it too quick. Take your time. They gave you 57 minutes. You paid for that time. Use it wisely. Once you've done that, you go into hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them have single hazards. One of them will always have a double. You don't know which video has a double, so you should be clicking on problems throughout. Some of you, what I saw in the study camp last week is that you guys are just literally clicking on the hazard. When I watched the video back in the study camp and seen students, they're just aiming for the hazards. So it's like 2 clicks per video. There's no way a video has one hazard on there. Let me put it that way. They have one hazard that counts, which is a scoring hazard, but they've got another 3 or 4 hazards on that video that you should be clicking on. You're just not going to get any points. So if you only got 2 to 4 clicks on your video, you're missing obvious hazards with that. So that's where you can go wrong on the day of the test as well. Most, I won't say most, about a third of the questions are common sense answers. I use this example every week. You should never be picking an answer with a mobile in it, because there's no way that's going to be correct, because you know you can't use mobile. It's one question on the real test, not on the app, is when can you use your mobile when the car's in motion? And they're saying to you, when can you use your mobile? And the common answer is never, but you can use your mobile while the car's in motion. The answer is when it's unsafe to stop and you're phoning 999 or a 112 number. That's the only time you can use your mobile while the car's in motion. So you should never be picking an answer that's got a mobile phone while the car's driving. And that's what I mean by common sense answers. If you don't know what the answer is, it's definitely not going to be mobile. Safety, as I mentioned, always look for a safe outcome with the answer. If it doesn't lead to safe outcomes, then it's going to be a controlled outcome. I do run a study camp, which is called a 30-day study camp. The reason why I call it 30-day study camp, because that's the sweet spot for studying if you're studying on a regular basis. Obviously, life gets in the way. People got work, families, so you can't study every day, so it's going to take you longer. The reason why I'm saying if you're studying on a regular basis, like daily or every other day, you don't want to be going too much longer over 30 days. Why? Because you're going to exhaust all the questions and then it becomes a memorizing exercise, not deliberately, because if you've seen all 774 questions and it just keeps repeating itself, then obviously you memorize it and then learning doesn't take place, learning stops. So ideally you want to study for about 30 days. If it's possible to do it on a regular basis, like I said, life gets in the way, fully understand that, then it can take you longer. But in terms of the study camp, you're in it until you pass. So once you sign up, once you're in, you don't get kicked out until you have passed the test anyway. You can keep coming back to all the training material. All right, so let me just carry on with this for a little bit longer, then I'll just do the question. Ruth, good morning to you. How are you? Long time no see, by the way. Hopefully you're going to come to the training session at 1 o'clock. We can have a little chat, see what you're up to. Black image pictures. I missed the eye. Good morning to you. I've not seen you before, so welcome. Oh, well done to you. Joined 2 weeks ago. I'm assuming that's the YouTube channel. And pass 43 has perception future. That's the teacher in me. I'm going to say congratulations first on passing. But 43 scraped it. All I would suggest with that is take a look at your paperwork. Make sure rules of the road and road signs isn't a big factor with the ones you got wrong, because that you definitely need for your driving lessons. The last thing you want to do is go driving lessons now and start talking about line marking, signs, triangles, circles, because you already passed the theory test, you want to drive. So that's what I would do, because 43, like I said, is a scrape. But well done anyway, and thank you for coming to the live session. Let me know, even though you've only been on the channel for 2 weeks. First lesson was learning how to turn left. Second lesson, turn right. Third lesson, touch both and roundabouts. First lesson, turning left. It's the way you worded it. Second lesson, turning right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just the way you worded it. In my head, when I teach, the first lesson is the basics, all the controls, moving off and stopping. We do a left turn anyway, but it's about the basics, controls, moving off, stopping. POM, I don't know if your instructor explains it to you that way. POM, POM for moving off, preparation, get the car ready. I don't know if you're doing automatic or manual, but if you're doing manual, it's get the car ready, find the button point, observation, blind spots, which is massive on the driving test, and M for moving off. And then we do left turns anyway. So you're pretty much doing what you're supposed to do on your lessons. Third lessons, turning left and turning right. But you haven't mentioned gears. So if you're doing automatic, that's fine. If you're doing manual, you should at least be doing that in second gear in those situations. Sanjay, morning, first of all. Just wanted to let you know I passed my theory 3 weeks ago. Well done to you. It's all thanks to you. You're the one that did the work. 47 out of 50 and 57 out of 75 has perception. Well done. Thank you for coming to the live. Let me know. Appreciate that. Fourth lesson was learning both reverse and forward parking. Oh wow, gone into reversing straight away. Have you been on the main roads? As in the main, because when you start from the back roads, but have you been on the main roads, traffic lights, zebra crossings, that type of thing? And let me know if you're doing gears or manual. Gears, same thing. Gears or automatic. All right, let me do the mock test now. I'll keep going through your comments. Share screen would help. Went black then. All right, for those of you that are new, question number 1. And what do these zigzag white lines mean? They're talking about these. When you go for your test, always read the question properly. If you have to read it 2 or 3 times like I do sometimes, so be it, look at the image, because sometimes there's clues in the image, and then go for your options. This is A for those of you that are new. This is B, so A and B is on the top line. C and D, please put the question number. So it'd be question 1. If you think the answer is A, put 1A. Why? There's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube, and I want to make sure when I show your answers, we're on the same question. That's the reason why. But keep your questions coming. And like I said, please put a Q semicolon. I will be still going through your comments. Is it okay to do 3 hours driving lessons per week for 1 month before going for a practical? The question that you got to be asking yourself is why. That suggests you're not ready for the practicals. That's cramming. That's like a mini intensive. Is it okay to do 3 hours driving lessons per week? Yeah, it's okay to do what you want. I've done 6 hours literally intensive though. 6 hours daily, 4 hours daily. I've got an intensive coming up 2 weeks time where he's doing 20 hours over the 5 days. So it's 4 hours a day, 2 hours a session, then an hour break, and then we go again. So you can structure your driving lessons anyhow you see fit. The only thing I would suggest, I wouldn't be doing 3 hours as in 3 single hours in the week. So let's say 1 hour Monday, 1 hour Wednesday, 1 hour Friday. 1 hour lessons is technically a waste of money. By the time you get going, it's time to head back home. So I would structure that minimum 1.5 hours over 2 days. But ideally what I would do is, I wouldn't do 3 hours in one session though. Unless it's an intensive, I wouldn't do that. The question, 3 hours is an odd number. That's the reason why. The answer to your question, let me keep it simple, because like I said, I don't know. You don't know how your instructor going to structure it. Yes, you can do what you want in a week up to your test. But I just wouldn't do 3 single hours. That's one thing I wouldn't do. Good morning to you, Sophie. Precious. Thank you for you guys. You're welcome. Trust work. My first time in a live with you. First of all, welcome. If you've got any questions, feel free to type them in. Let me know. If you've got a test coming up or you're just studying, just starting out, where are you on your journey? Just share some information. Good morning to you and welcome. Not seen your name before, so welcome to you. My in-depth gratitude. You are welcome. Whatever you're going to say. I passed my third test. 46 out of 50. Congratulations. 56. Prepping for my practical soon. Stay blessed. When's your practical? And what area? Let me know what area and when's your practical. All right, let's look in for the ones. Are you on the main road? Okay. Sharon, good morning. Sharon Tyson, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so definitely welcome to you. What time is your live here? 10 o'clock we start. And Michael, good morning to you. So you guys gone for C. Zigzags is no parking. Let me just quickly add some meat on the bones with this. If they ask you, again, this is for the real test, not on the app, what should you not do within the zigzag? Park at any time is one, and the other one is overtake within the zigzag, just in case they word it differently. Like I said, it's understanding why do these zigzag white lines, what do these zigzags white lines means. On this occasion, no parking at any time, but like I said, if you memorize it as no parking at any time, when you go for the real test, if that's not there, then you're lost. The other answer is no overtaking within the zigzag. Question 2, you're in a tunnel when you see this sign, what does it mean? Another question, is a junction a type of road where they all meet and try and enter different lanes? A junction is where cars turn left and right. You've got like T-junctions, or you've got a crossroad which is 4 ways. T-junctions 3 ways. A crossroads is 4 ways, and someone's got priority. Normally the ones on the main road has priority. The side roads will be a giveaway line. That's what a junction is. Fatma, not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Good morning, dear. I want to take my test next month. If you're going to take it next month, book it. All you got to do is make sure you're studying for it. There's 2 ways of doing it. If you're ready for it, book it, obviously, then go for it. If you're not and you want to take it next month, then book it. Use it as a motivation and then work towards it. But as you're working towards it, keep an eye on the cancellation date, which is normally 3 working days before. And if you're not going to be ready, push it back. Just be realistic and honest with yourself. Oh, wow. So you're driving now. You are a driver, Precious. Well done to you. Congratulations. You must be loving, especially in this weather, you must be loving it. Good morning to you. Good morning. I've not seen your name before, so good morning to you and welcome. It's got to type your question once. Like I said, I will say, and like I said, you didn't put a Q semicolon. That's the reason why. So if you want questions answered, put a Q semicolon. I will come across it, so you don't have to type it out twice. I'm doing the manual, don't want to stress myself with manual. Yeah, I think you mean you're doing automatic. I don't want to stress myself with manual, and I've already done some bits before. Wasn't really first time, but no, okay, it wasn't your first time. Okay, that's brilliant. So like I said, the instructor will guide you. If you're doing 4 hours a week, you should be ready. I'm trying to find the twos. There you go. Samuel, good morning to you. How are you? I've got D here. Oh, you changed it to C. Good morning to you. In UK, the pass rate for manual versus automatic is. Are you filling in that gap, or do you want me to fill that gap in? Because if you're asking me, I don't know. I don't teach automatics, so I don't really pay attention to what the pass rate is. And I don't really pay attention to pass rates in manual or automatic. I'll tell you why in a minute. I don't pay attention to that. Two things. When did you send the email, and did you send it to the email address for the students? If you send it to the info email, that's going to get lost in the public emails because it's a public email. But if you send it to the email for the students, then that should have been seen and activated. But like I said, it depends on when you sent it, because I was in the emails yesterday. I didn't see it. Sorry, what did you guys go for? 2C. 2C. Yes, that's correct. What should you do if a traffic in the left hand lane is slowing? This lecture is really bad this morning. What should you do if the traffic in the left hand lane is slowing? Zigzag means pedestrian and kids, right? Nope, they don't. You're talking about the school sign. School keep clear. Zigzag doesn't mean that. Zigzag means, like I said, no overtaking and no parking. STK, welcome to you. Just want to pass driving and be able to get from point A and B. Would you recommend? I wouldn't. Automatic and manual is a personal choice. That's one thing I will say. You have to decide on what you want to do. If you can't decide to take a driving lesson in a manual, take a driving lesson in an automatic, and then see which is best for you. I'm biased. I teach manual, so I would always guide people to a manual. Automatics, just in case you didn't know, was designed for disabled people because it could be adapted for any disability. Able-bodied people took it over and then decided they can do automatic and manual. If you're a younger person, I would advise you to do manual. Why? Because you don't know where your driving life is going to take you, or your job career is going to take you. Because if you get opportunities to drive company vehicles, most of them come in a manual, which means you can't take that opportunity. If you're older, got family, you're pretty much set in your ways, so you're not going to go from automatic to a manual rear. But if you're young, you don't know where your life's going to take you. I'll give you an example. When I taught my son to drive, obviously he learned in a manual. He passed when he was 18. And he's now driving around for different companies, blah, blah, blah. So he's got access to automatic, he's got access to a manual. If he didn't learn in a manual, then he would have not had the opportunity. He would have to take another driving lesson and pass in a manual. So that's the reason why. So if you're young, go for manual. That's my advice. If you're older, then you go for automatic, but you still got to decide what's right for you. Michael, good morning to you. Miriam, good morning to you. And let me come back to that. So let me just do number 3. I'll come back to that. That's a good question. So I'm trying to find it. 3. We're on 3. So all the 2s are still popping up. There we go, 3. So I've got 3A, 3B. Good morning to you. So I've got to assume A is correct because the majority of you guys are going there. All right, 3A. Right lane's closed off. It's got safe in the answer. It doesn't always work, but it's got safe in the answer. Someone went for B. I'm sure someone went for B. Once you got accelerate in it, it's going to be wrong. Accelerate means speed up. That can't lead to safety. Not only that, it says, what should you do for traffic in the left-hand lane is slowing down? So it's probably slowing down to let cars in from the right lane because the right lane's closed off. You're saying accelerate past the vehicle in the left-hand lane. So that means you're accelerating to a dead end, basically. That's what you're saying. How can you reduce the damage your vehicle causes to the environment? Right. Is it advisable to start learning lessons while you are yet to pass the theory test? I would recommend that because you're saving time in the long run. The reason being because let's just say you you take your theory test and you did what I said, 30 days. Let's just say it's 30 days. So that's a month. Without taking driving lessons, you pass your theory test, then you're now looking for driving lessons. Technically, you're a month behind. Whereas if you are learning the theory while you learn to drive a month, as I said, 2 hours a week, you're already 2, 4, 6, 8 hours in to your driving lesson. And normally, if someone's got no driving experience when I'm teaching, I try to get them on the main roads between the 6th and the 10th hour, depending how quick their learning is. So you could already be driving on the main roads while you're studying. That's the reason why I suggest that. And not only that, you give yourself a better chance of passing the theory test because you're now driving and you're now going to use that knowledge. So you're going to be spotting road signs, your red triangles, red circles, blue circles, the lines on the floor, pedestrians, has perception. Just in case you didn't know, has perceptions, you check in the mirrors. So you're going to be using the mirrors while you're driving. Problem, click. So you're going to actually get live experience of hazard perception. So it's just reinforcing the learning, so it both goes hand in hand. But like I said, I know everyone can't do that, but that's the best solution, is learn to drive at the same time you're studying. It's going to cost you nothing extra. Patrick, good morning to you. My test is on the 12th of August, which is only a few weeks away, so I wish you luck with that. Again, if you've got any questions, write them down, let us know. Is lesson every day. If you're talking about this as what I'm doing now, no. It's only on a Sunday at 10 a.m. I do classes Monday to Thursday in a study camp, and that's every day. No, I say every day, Monday to Thursday. And then we do a live session Wednesday, and I got one today at 1 p.m. But these sessions are just on the Sunday. Got to save some time for the family. Number 4. D. Am I reading something wrong here? All right, the reason why someone's gone for 4D or the last one, and you guys have gone for B. Once you got brake heavily, again, it's going to be wrong. Brake heavily, brake sharply. It's all going to be wrong. Anticipate well ahead. That's what the answer is based on this. Damage your vehicle. How can you reduce the damage your vehicle causes to the environment? Anticipate well ahead. But what that means is braking smoothly and accelerating smoothly. You're reading the situation, and that's braking nice and smooth, not brake heavily. When you brake heavily, you're burning too much fuel to move off again. Again, just in case that answer is not there on the test day, because I was shocked to see that here, to be fair. It's normally walk or cycle is the common answer, but they've got anticipate well ahead. But never brake heavily. What should you do if your doctor prescribes drugs that are likely to affect your driving? Any tips on how to get the maximum points and hazard perception? Most times I click too early or just before the 5 points, and my next point will probably be 3 or 2. The first thing, you're doing it wrong in terms of you're saying any tips on how to get the maximum points. You don't want the maximum points, you want to pass it. No one's saying you have to get 75 out of 75. So once you aim for 75 and you get 72, for example, you're going to get frustrated because you aim for 75. So that's the wrong mentality to have. What you're looking to do is make sure you get enough points to pass. I'm not saying you want to get 44 because that's what you need minimum. You want to get in the 50s, but you shouldn't be looking at getting the maximum. Just see the problem, get a score. So if you're scoring 3s, that's the average score you're looking for per video. 2s is too low. If you're getting it before the 5 and the next point is 2, I'll click too early or just before the 5. I'll click too early. That's too early, still before the 5. It's the way you're wording it. I'll click too early. Too early is before the 5, so it's the same thing. And my next point will be 3 or 2. Your clicks are too far apart. If you're going for a 2-click method and the first one's before the 5, you shouldn't be getting a 2 on the second click. Your clicks are too far apart. But the answer to your question, first of all, change the mentality. You're not trying to get 55. You're just trying to get the highest score possible on the test that you take. If it happens to be, again, 44, go with 44 and just try to improve. But aiming high on a score that you're never going to get. You're never really going to get 75 out of 75. So you're setting yourself up for mental failure in that sense. You want to go for a 2-click method. When you click, you click and you go 1, 2, and then click again. So if the first one was too early just before the 5, like you're saying, the second one should land in the 4 or the 3. It shouldn't be landing in the 2. And if you are clicking too early and too late, you don't know what hazard is. That's what it comes down to be honest. If you know what hazard is, you wouldn't be clicking too early. You can click too early if you know what hazard is, but you would still be getting 5s and 4s. And if you don't know what hazard is, that's why you're getting 3s and 2s, because you're waiting when you're on top of the hazard. I'm going to do a demonstration later on, so if you are sticking around, feel free to ask the questions when I show you. I'm here to share my results. Share? Let's see what the results are. Hopefully it's positive. Gives inspiration to other people. Got a B here. Bit tricky, almost locked in 5A. Well, let's take a look at that. 99% of the person working that. You should even, obviously I missed your results, so you passed it, I'm assuming, because you said 99% of the questions were from the app. Yeah, you can even get 100% of the questions from the app. What I'm saying to you is you have to go in there with an open mind, with the potential of getting some questions you've never seen before, some questions worded differently. Because remember, it's random, so you could be one of the lucky ones and get, like you said, 99% of the questions, or you could be unlucky and get 50% of the questions, which means you need to get the other 50% that you haven't seen before, obviously correct. So it is random. So like I said, it is a little bit luck on the day, but you make your own luck, because if you go in there with the knowledge and understanding, you don't really need luck, because whatever comes up, you're going to pass that bit anyway. But if you didn't study the way you should study in terms of understanding the why, yeah, you're going to need a little bit of luck that most of the questions are in your favour. I'm not seeing your name before, so welcome to the live session, by the way. Thank you very much. Did my test on Friday. 49, missed it by 1. Magical 50, and 68 has a perception. Well done to you. Thank you for coming to the session. Let me know. Again, if you're still here, let me know what you're next going to do. Driving lessons or driving test. Well, I got 5 A's, 5 D's, and said it's a bit tricky. Must locked in A. I got to say 5D must be correct, because most of you gone for that. What should you do if a doctor prescribed drugs for unlikely effects? 5A, only drive if someone is with you. How does that change anything? That's how you got to look at it. If the drugs, let me quickly explain. They're talking about medication. They say drugs and make it sound like drugs you shouldn't be taking, illegal drugs. The theory test is always going to put you in safe situation. So it's legal medication is what they're talking about. Now, if the doctor gives you medication that's going to make you drowsy, because some medications make you drowsy, it says you should not operate heavy machinery. Cars come under that. So if you are taking medication that you should not be driving, how does someone sitting next to you change that? You're still driving, but just driving with someone next to you. And it says only drive if someone's with you. It doesn't say it's another driver. It says someone. So it could be your son, your daughter who's underage of driving. So that's why that never leads to safety. Get someone else to drive. That's safe because someone else is doing the driving while you're sitting back in the passenger seat, sleeping off. What should you do when you see an older person about to cross the road ahead? I think this is what we've got to. On the multiple choice, I scored 49. So well done to you. 49, missed it by 1. Has perception 62 out of 75 high scores. Well done to you. You not got 90% of the questions. 99% of the questions. So the 1% that you didn't get was the one that you got wrong. He's 22 class as a young person to do manual because my brother jumped in auto when he was 19. As I said, you can do auto manual at any age. My advice over the years, and I'm talking from experience, again, some of you don't know because some of you are new. I'm a driving instructor. I'm not just a random person who makes theory test videos. I'm a driving instructor who teaches the theory test. I've been teaching the theory for about the last 11 years now, but I've been a driving instructor for 30 years. And it's always been meant. I have taught automatic in my early days, but like I said, it was for disabled people back then, someone with one arm, one leg. So that's what I was teaching. And then over the time, able-bodied people took it up because they don't have to change gears. That's why. Now, you can drive a manual or auto, your choice. But in my experience, when someone is young, 17, 18, learns in an automatic, gets jobs that offer a company vehicle, is normally manual, then they lost that job opportunity. And I have taught somebody who has passed in an automatic, quite a few over the years, who has passed an automatic and now need a manual license. And that's the reason why I'm saying if you start in a manual, you got the choice of both. Another situation is not work related, where someone's passing an automatic and getting married, but they can only afford one car, and the wife already had the car or the husband had the car manual. They wasn't going to sell it, so they had to now learn a manual car so they got access to it. That's the reason why you don't know where your life's going to take you when you're younger. So start in the manual, but you can start at any age. It doesn't really matter. You just try and head. The last thing you want to do is pass an automatic if you're young, 17, and then 6, 7, 8 years from now you want to do a manual test, because the test is only going to get harder. That's the way you want to look at it. Number 6, let's just do this one quickly before I move on. It was Monday, I studied after what you not memorize now. So you studied really hard. And that's the key, not memorizing and understanding. Once you understand it, it becomes a lot easier. 6. Looks like you guys have gone for B. Some of you still not putting a question number. 6B. Bigger. Yeah, elderly people, lack of reaction. Again, same question, lack of reactions, poor reaction time. But in this case, misjudge your speed is the correct one. What should you do if you become tired while you're driving on the motorway? So let me just do this. I will check after this. I will check. I need to go into Kajabi for the training. So I will check my emails, and if It's when I think you said when you sent it. I just didn't say. Yeah, I checked the emails, but when I was in there, yes, I didn't see it. So I checked the spam. So for the theory test, the maximum time is 120 minutes. 120 minutes total for both parts. So it's 15 minutes for 15. It's 57 minutes for the questions, and it does have a countdown timer. And that's the reason why I suggest you flag the questions that you're not sure of and then finish. The last thing you want to do is spend time on questions you're not sure of, and then when you get to 47, 48, the time's ticking down, then you're now rushing and picking a panic answer. So you're better off, if you're not sure what the answer is, flag it and move on. So you're answering all the questions you're confident with, and then the time you have remaining, you can split between the questions you flagged, if that makes sense. Then you got to watch a 3-minute video. I wouldn't watch the video, but you can't skip it anymore. And then you have 20 minutes for your hazard perception, because each video is between 45 seconds to a minute. Yeah, you said it's Thursday. Yeah, I'll double check it. Like I said, I've got to go in there before today's session. And if it's done, you'll get an email. You're welcome. It's my first attempt. I had no clue what happens inside. It's literally, there's nothing major. It's just going there and sitting down in the room with, every room's different and the setup's slightly different, but it follows the same procedure. It's just 50 questions, just similar to what you do at home, but there's no TV music. Some of you are still doing music in the background, TV on, family in the background. You shouldn't be studying like that. But it's no different from what you should be doing. 50 questions, that's all it is, and has perception. It's just more stressful because you know you're going to get a result, and but it should be a pass. Whereas if you fail a mock test at home, you just take another one. Sorry, number 7. So I'm trying to find the 7s. Some of you's typing so quick. There we go. I think this is the first one. Basically, what is the difference between manual? I think I'm missing something there. Oh, is that between manual and automatic? The only difference is there's no, you don't use your left foot in automatic because it doesn't have gears. Oh, here we go. Basically, what's the difference between manual and auto? How long does it take to know manual van? Everyone's different. Oh, let me come back to that. I'll start that and I'll come back to that. Oh, you resent it. Oh, like I said, once the live is over, I'm going to jump in because there's something I need to retrieve from there, and I'll just send you the request again. So check your email after we finish here at 12 o'clock. Once I send the email, you've got 6 hours to activate it because it's obviously your password details. 7C. Sorry. Yeah, leave the motorway. You're looking for a service station to stop at. You can't stop on the hard shoulder. The hard shoulder is for emergencies only. Tyre doesn't come under emergencies. Yeah, so sensitive information. So you only got 6 hours to activate. But literally, once the live finish, I will dive in and send it to you. So I will check your email within the next 6 hours. Who may use toucan crossing? That's worded badly. Who may use toucan crossing? Who may use a toucan crossing? All right, now let's get through your comments quickly. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. At North Yorkshire, cool. Different drivers. Well, that's bad. That's really bad. I'll tell you why that could be, because they are fully booked up with students, so that's a nice way of saying I can't take you on. So you phone back after you pass the theory, so they're keeping their options open in that sense. The other reason as well, because they are booked up and the students can't get driving tests to get them off their books because the waiting time is long. So probably that's the reason why they're saying that. Like I said, instructors should be taking you on because they should be helping you with the theory as well. I know some instructors don't because they just want to concentrate on driving. It's not my job to teach the theory, but yes, it is, to be fair. So if you're in Yorkshire, if they're not taking people on until they pass the theory, that's just unfortunate. But it shouldn't be that way. So you obviously, in that situation, you're going to have to pass your theory. So that's sad to hear that instructors are actually doing that to you guys. I tell you, I started my tests by the practice and kept on answering the questions, understanding it, to talking to myself. I do that all the time. Thinking, yeah, some people like to take shortcuts. Some people don't like to put the work and effort in, but you put the work and effort in, you normally get the reward, which is normally a first time pass, which is what you want. Don't put the effort in, you stand the chance of sitting it again and again and again. Because you're taking shortcuts. There is no shortcut to it because it's going to cost you in the long run. Let's say you did take a shortcut, crammed 2 days before and passed it. Happy days, you passed it. But guess what? When you go for your driving lessons now, you're going to be sitting at the side of the roads, the instructor explaining to you road signs, road markings, rules of the road, how to check your mirrors because you didn't do hazard perception the way it should be done, blah, 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 all the rest of it. That's all theory stuff. Because when I'm teaching, if they learn the theory with me, we spend more time driving because they've been taught properly. But if they've learned the theory from somewhere else, I have to fill in those blanks. And so we're parked up at the side of the road. I'm explaining stuff like give way lines, and that's basic. But I have to do that for the driving to become solid. If I skip and just gloss over it, then obviously the driving is going to be weak, which means they're going to fail their driving test again. So it's going to cost you in the long run. You're better off doing the work now, save money on driving lessons, and pass first time on your driving test. Number 8. I've got A here and then C's. So we're going to have to assume C's correct because the majority is going for that. Hello to you, Tanzin. I'm going to call you Tanzin. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Some of you are typing stuff in there 3-4 times. I've seen it and I will get to it. So, how are you? And welcome. Typing it in 3-4 times is not going to let me respond quicker. By the way, let me just make that quite clear. 8C. Cyclists. Let me just quickly explain this. It says who may use a two-lane crossing. Cyclists and pedestrians. I think this came up last week as well. Cyclists can legally ride across this crossing, so they can literally ride across the crossing. The other crossings, zebras, puffins, pelicans, they should get off their bike and wheel it across. So legally they can ride. The others they can't. That's the reason why it's two-can. That's what it stands for, two-can cross at the same time. Which Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, otherwise known as ADAS, is designed to actively prevent collisions? Right, I've not seen your name before. I know you was typing this 6-7 times in there, Shante. Welcome. You join the study camp by the link in the description. The link is in the description. I can actually do it again as well. Let me put the link in the description. I just typed in there as well. How do I get in touch with you for the upcoming classes? I'm assuming, Michael, you mean the study camp. Again, use typing in 5-6 times. The link is in the description. Read the link. Read the description, sorry. And I'll just put it in there as well. Fatma, I'm not... This is my first time. You won't take your test in August, I think you said before. This is my first time. I've never been in your class, but I always watch your videos. I have no idea driving, so I need help. I have no idea driving. That's the driving instructor's job. I can't help you on the live sessions. I couldn't give you advice about driving lessons. But if you've never driven before, it's not a problem. Lots of people never drove before. Take your theory test and take a driving lesson. And your instructor will keep you safe while you're doing it. You should have a bit of fun in it as well to remove your nerves and stress out of it. But yeah, driving instructor, keep you safe. I was watching videos in the kitchen for revision. Ready for the test. Okay. Nice to know when you watched in the kitchen. Playlist is awesome. I need to update the playlist. They're all still relevant, but I need to bring up to date. All right, number 9. So you guys are going for A. Nine A. Yeah, prevent collisions got to be the brake. The brake stops you from crashing, so it's the only one that's got a brake in it, so it's got to be that one. But I would always read the other options when you take the real test, just in case they jazz up another one. You want to reverse to a side road. What should you do if you're not sure about the area behind your car is clear? Jules, welcome, and how are you? Pastor Freddie, well done to you. 48, 6 missed it by 2, 64. Appreciate that, and thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. Driving lessons, how far deep are you in your lessons? Are you in a position to book a driving test, look for a driving test? I appreciate the hugs. That's disciplining. That's me. I've got to open it as I'm coming through the door, to be honest. I need to know my hard work's paid off, or didn't, one way or the other. But well done to you. I think I mentioned that. No, I didn't. I was starting to. The difference between a manual and automatic. Manual's got 3 pedals: clutch, brake, gas. Clutch is for helping you change gears. On automatic, there is no clutch. It's brake and gas. And you just use your right foot for those 2 pedals. So you don't use your left foot. A lot of people, and there's no gear changes. Once you put it into drive, the car does the rest automatically. Hence the name. A lot of people think automatic is easier. Technically it is, because you're not using your left foot and your left hand, but the driving mentality is still the same, because you have to read the road to keep yourself safe. Just a little insight as well, with automatics you can approach corners too fast, because with a manual you have to slow down to change down the gear to go around the corner. In an automatic you just use the brake like a go-kart, so you can approach corners too fast in an automatic. So there is that downside if you're not aware and careful. Link is in the description. I'll just put it in the comment section as well. I'm gonna come back to what I just saw. One second. Number 10. Let me see the 10s. So that's the advantage of knowing it has perception. because you missed. You said I didn't score on 2 clips, which means you got 2 zeros out of 14 clips. That's 12 videos you had to play around with and still passed. And let me just put the result up here: 62 out of 75, and 2 of those clips you scored a 0. So 2 of those clips, if you've got maximum, that's 10. That's 72. And this is why it's important that you know what a hazard is, just in case you mess up. Because if you know what a hazard is, you're getting lots of 5s and 4s along the way. We are human. You are, and you may miss your hazards on there because it's mental fatigue. So it's not you, it's just mental fatigue sometimes. So by averaging 5s, 4s along the way, it will bring your average up to above the 3 that you need. But if you're basically scoring 3s along the way, you run the risk of failing because the minimum requirement across the board on average is 3. So if you're averaging 3 on every video that you click at home, you're running the risk of failing. That's why it's worth getting a decent score. Unless someone was saying to me, what's the best way to get 75? You're not aiming for 75. You're aiming for the best score possible that you are doing at that time, and then review back your video to see how you can improve. Did you click too early? Did you click too late? Why didn't you see the hazard itself? Blah, blah, blah. And that's how the score improves, slowly but steadily. But if you go for 75 straight away, you're running the risk of frustrating yourself and messing up. So you guys gone for C. Oh, there's a B here. Right, let me see. I got to assume C is correct because you guys have gone for C. Get out and check. You want to reverse. Right. What was the other option? I'm sure it was a B. I saw, yeah, B. Look through the rear window. That's the common answer, and I'll tell you why that answer is not right. None of the mirrors are correct. You should never assume. You want to reverse to a side roll. What should you do if you're not sure about the area behind the car? It says the area behind the car. What they're not telling you here is the boot down. So you're looking from the boot down. If you look in the rear view, the rear wind mirror, or look through the back window, you're seeing behind you and down the road. But it says behind your car. It says the boot down, children playing hide and seek, black bags, recycling bins that you can't see through the mirror. That's why it's get out and check. I'll also add on the real test, if same question, this is not the option, you're now looking for ask someone to guide you. So it's the 2 options they can give, get out and check or ask someone to guide you. How should you overtake horse riders? If I want to join the class for hazard alone, it's the same price. I'll be honest with you. If the only one for hazard perception, watch the videos. That's your best bet. Because I do cover hazard perception in there, and I can see how you're clicking, when you're clicking, and I can give you advice on there. But for the feed, it's not worth just for hazard alone. But the question you've got to ask yourself is this: are you really? Not to put you down because I don't know you. You could be 100% with the questions. Again, I'm just talking from my experience when I'm teaching this. I know students struggle with hazard perception, but they also struggle with the questions. It's very rare they're comfortable with the questions and not comfortable with the hazard perception. It's either one or the other or both. And like I said, are you comfortable with the questions because you're using the app and you know the questions on there because the app gets repeated again and again and again. So, but anyway, the answer to your question is I wouldn't join a class for the hazard perception alone. There's too many videos out there, just save your money. Please, could you explain the types of crossing again? Still getting. You asked me that last week. I'm sure that you did, Samuel. You need to probably watch the videos. All you need to know on the crossings is the lights. The sequence of the lights starts from green, green at the bottom, steady amber, red, coming down, red and amber, then green. The pelican is the only one that's a flashing amber. All the crossings are pretty much the same after that. I think you're overthinking and stressing out over it. Because the crossing questions is literally what colour comes next, or toucan, who can use a toucan. It's not really deep dive into it. How should you overtake horse riders is what we're looking at, number 11. Hello, first time here. And welcome. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask it. Please put a Q semicolon. Makes it easier for me to find it. Let me know if you're studying for a test or you just studying. Got a C here. Yeah, just tell me whereabouts you are on your journey. You guys having a conversation. A's and C's, you guys are getting confused with A's and C's. Let's take a look at A. Drive slowly, leave plenty of room. That's the safest option. Drive slowly. Once you got slowly in the answer, sounds positive. Plenty of room, horses. And what's the other option? C. Speed is not important. Of course it is important. What that answer is saying, speed is not important, so you can do 60 miles an hour past a horse. You do 60 miles an hour past a horse, and that horse is going to flip. So yeah, the plenty of room is a safe part of it, but speed isn't. Of course, speed is important. With horses, you do 10 to 12 miles an hour when you go past a horse. For those of you doing manual, you're looking at first, second gear tops to go past a horse. So speed does matter. What does this sign mean? Ten when you're on your double. The 5 alone, because 9 5s are 45. You only need 44. So you have, like I said, they're getting near maximum all the time. The 5s and the 4s is what you're after. But if you're averaging 3 at home, there's a reason why you're getting 3s at home. I'm not saying you can't pass on a real test, but you're not giving yourself room for error, because we all make mistakes. Right, Agnes, good morning to you. Past my theory, I've already started my driving lesson. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know. Can you do driving lessons and pass the driving test without having a car of your own yet? Right, let's break this down because there's a lot of questions there. Can you do your driving lessons and pass your driving test without having a car? Yeah, because you use your instructor's car. Is it possible to learn manual without having a car of yours to practice on your own? Yes, because you use your instructor's car. When you take driving lessons, you're using your instructor's car. If you've got your own car, you can practice in between. That helps massively. But you passing your instructor's car, and then when you're ready, you go and get the car of your own. The other thing you got to be aware of, you're on 2 years probation when you pass your driving test. So think about, if you haven't got a car, you pass your driving test, and it takes you a year to save up. That's a year ticking on your 2 years, because it's not 2 years driving, it's 2 years once you pass your driving test. If it took you 2.5 years to get a car, save up and get a car, then you'd pass the probation period, so you're not going to lose your license once you start driving. It'd be rusty, but then you can take refresher lessons. But yeah, you can take driving lessons without a car, without your own car. Good morning to you and welcome. I've got B's and C's. Link, thank you for following the channel. The link is in the description and I'll put it in the comment section. I would like to request access to live hazard perception videos. When you say live, what do you mean by live? I don't, well, first of all, you said requesting, like if I got access to them, the hazard perceptions are on your app of choice that you are using. I'm assuming if you Google some, you can get some new ones out there as well on Google, or some websites. I don't know where those are because I don't use those. Claudine, good morning and welcome, first time here. But yeah, it has perception, if you don't know, is on the app. No, that's the whole point of driving, is for you to get your independence. You can carry as many people. They're trying to bring that in at the precise moment. Whether they will is another matter. I don't see the point in someone passing and you can't carry anyone. But at this point in time, you can carry as many people as you want legally in the car. So it's not in yet. That's why I'm urging you guys to pass now. So these new rules they're trying to bring, whether they will bring it in or not, is another matter. But you never know when with this government. So don't let these restrictions hold you back. Get your license now while it's as it is. Sorry, 12B, but there was another option here. C. So you guys are going 12B, 12C. With flow. No arrow under the bike is with flow. So the bike is going up and you're on this side of the white line and you're going up. And C is bicycle and bus. How do you go for C? Bicycles and buses only. There's no buses on there. So this one you can get rid of because there's no buses. Get rid of this and there's no buses. So it's going to be between these two. Contra, just in case you didn't know, it's going against the flow of traffic. So there'll be an arrow under the bike going down. So contra's going against, with flow, no arrow there. So you should never be choosing these. It's bus, bus. As I said, look at the image carefully because sometimes there's clues in there. Why should you reduce your speed here? Wow. That's nice. You two remember each other. Why did you spam? With the question. Yeah, start looking now. It's going to take a little while to get one, but start looking now, and hopefully you'll get one, and then just work towards it. Okay, behind the car, get out and check just to be sure strongly because of kids. Yeah, kids play hide and seek and hide behind the bonnet of the car so you can't see. The mirrors don't show you all of that. So that's why it's get out and check. Sometimes with the questions, this is based on a real test, they ask you a certain question, but they don't give you the full background information. So with the car question, you're reversing, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like the safest thing to look through your mirrors because that's what you do when you're driving. But they're not making it clear, but you want to come out and check behind the car. And like I said, kids playing hide and seek and the dustmen putting the black bags out for the dust cart to come. You just don't know what happens overnight, so just get out and check. When students say to me, especially on driving tests, and I can hear you say, don't take chances, don't take risks, take your time. My job's done. Because it means you've listened to what I'm saying and you're taking on board what I'm saying. So yeah, when you hear my voice in your head, it's my job is done. What time does the camp take place during the 30 days? Are there flexible times? The times are set 5 till 7 Monday to Thursday, and 7:45 for the live review session where I'll go through your personal data on a Wednesday, and 1 p.m. on a Sunday. If you can't attend, you have email support anyway, so if you can't attend, every session is recorded so you can watch the live classes back in your own time because it's done via Zoom. Yeah, that's one of the best. But like I said, you're driving now, so just get the test day booked and then you know you got something to work towards, and then you can structure your lessons for it. Whether you need to step it up or ease off, whatever it is, so your timing to be ready. 13. In D. What does this sign mean? I don't know if I've done this, Claudine. First time. Hey, good morning to you and welcome. If you've got any questions, Claudine, type them in. Let us know whereabouts you are on your journey. Are you just starting out with your studying? Have you taken a test before? If you've got any questions, type them in, but put a Q. Semicolon, just like Dee did here. Right, you guys are going to C on this. Blue circles are mandatory. So it's going to be minimum speed. Red circles with max. What does this sign mean? The comment is covering the options to the answers. You're talking about the lights, the crossings. As I said, the only question, the main questions are, what color the lights? So what color comes after green? Or what color comes after green? Yeah, what color comes after green? What color comes after steady amber? So with the colors of the lights, you always work from bottom to top. That's how I always explain it in the group, because it's easier. Green is at the bottom, steady amber's next, red is next. Why do you want to do it that way? Because it's going up as a single color. So if they ask you what color comes after green, you know it's going to be steady amber. If they ask you what color comes after steady amber, it's going to be red. Now, if they say to you what color comes after red, it comes down as a double. So it's red and amber together, and then it goes back to green. The only exception is your pelican crossing, which goes up, steady amber, red. It comes down by itself as a flashing amber, and then it goes back to green. So the light sequence is the same except pelican crossing. And then you saw the toucan one. Who's it for? Two can cross at the same time. Cyclists can legally ride, and your pedestrians can walk at the same time. But outside of the crossings, there's not much other questions with that. Oh, sorry. Thanks for letting me know. You're the only one who did that. Oh, everyone's answering it, but you're the only one who said the comments was covering. So let's do this again. What number? 15. All right. Got C here. Oh, duh. Sorry, it's Samuel. You and who was it? Maria was the only one who typed it in. Sorry, I'm having a moment at the moment. Take it down. All right. You're gone for B anyway. Maximum speed limit, traffic calming measure. Someone's gone for C. Only 20 cars allowed at any one time. That's got to be a typo, surely. In winter, road signs can become covered by snow. What does this sign mean? I think I'm up to date with all the comments. So, 16. Right, I'm going to put the answers up, but it's going to cover the options. So I'm aware. And the option you need is on the bottom line, to be fair. So you guys all gone for this. It's a stop sign, it's octagon. That's why it's shaped. Well, let's take it down. That's why it's shaped like that, so you can spot it in bad weather. So again, on the rule test, that asks you why is it shaped octagon. There's another one, the upside down triangle. It's because if it's bad weather, the shape is always going to be there, so there's no misunderstanding. So I'm going to bring this up. This is number 17. I'm going to just bring this up slightly so you've got a better view of the options. You're on a 3-lane motorway. How should you overtake a slow-moving lorry in the middle lane if it's showing this sign? So again, look at the image. There's a clue in the image. Remember, if you guys got any questions, ask them before we sign out. 17, fast internet connection. Oh, you guys gone for B. Yeah, the arrow's facing left. So you're looking for an answer with left in it. Right. How can you reduce the risk of your vehicle being broken into at night? So Miriam, if I'm learning my driving lessons, you know I need to practice with a car. Could you please tell me what to do? Because the police are like to stop someone while you practice with a car. If I'm learning, I don't understand your question. If you are taking driving lessons, you are doing it with a driving instructor. So their cars will be signed up with L plates on, and they should have a green badge or a pink badge in there. When, just in case you guys don't know, we are licensed to teach, obviously, and it's going to be a green badge if they're fully qualified, and it's a pink badge if they are training. It's called a PDI. So if you're going with a driving instructor, you've got nothing to worry about. If you're practicing with family members or friends, similar thing. You put a L plates on the front, L plates on the back. Make sure the car's insured for you to drive as a learner driver, and the police ain't gonna touch you unless the car's you're doing something stupid or the car looks unsafe. But you can practice with somebody else as long as, like I said, you hit those requirements. Someone next to you over 21, had a license for 3 years, L plates on front and back, and make sure the car's fully insured for you to drive as a learner driver. Then you've got nothing to worry about. 18. See, I've seen your question. I will come to it. B. Yeah, the reason why you want to leave it into a well-lit area, because if someone's breaking in, breaks the window, makes noise, someone looks through the curtains, they can see the person clearly. That's the reason why. Just in case you didn't know. What will become more expensive after you've been convicted of driving while unfit through drink and drugs? Right, would you advise purchasing your car while learning how to drive, or better to pass first and then buy a car? I can't answer that, to be honest. I've had students buy a car, leave it on the sitting outside the house or on the driveway, buy a car and got someone sit next to them, practice. There's all different reasons. Or they literally saw a bargain and they thought to themselves, you know what, let me snap it up now and then just leave it sitting there. You have to decide on what's best for you. If you've got somewhere to store it, because remember, if you are buying a car, you're going to need to tax it and insure it for it to be sitting on the road. If you're not going to drive it, I'm not saying it's a waste of money, but the months are ticking. Do you know what I mean? So if you can buy a car, it's not taxed, fill in ferry test, SORN, statutory off-road notification, get it off the road, leave it on the driveway, private land. There's different ways around it, but you have to look at what's right for you. There's no hard, fast rule. But if you come across a bargain, will it still be there by the time you pass your test? And your test is in December, if I remember rightly. Do you want to buy a car, let it sit out there until December? If you're going to drive it and practice in it, that's different. But do you want to just get in rust? I don't know. Like I said, you have to do what's right for you. There's different situations for everybody. 19. D, are you actively looking now? That's the question. Or is it just something you're thinking about? $19A. Yeah, if you've been convicted, you're gonna your insurance is gonna go high. They're gonna hit you in the pocket for it. So don't do it, basically. Let me just bring this up a little bit. So it's last question. Wow, 20. What does this sign mean? What to know? I want to know. I want to know is what you should be saying. Can begins on how you get confirmation after payment, please. And how you get confirmation after payment. When you sign up, you got to do your password. And once everything's gone through, they send you the link and you just log in. You got straight access to it. And you just log in with the email and password that you signed up with. And then once you've done that, you automatically get an email from the driving theory team, us, and it tells you what to do to start your journey. And you literally go into Kajabi, watch the welcome video, and you're supposed to do a mock test as well, so we can see your baseline score. So you're registered on the Theory Test Pro, and that you get an invite for in your email, and you log on, just do a 50-question mock test, and I get to see your baseline score, so I know how and when to advise you on whatever it is that you need to do. And you can join the live session. So if you sign up today, as in this morning, you can join the live session because we go live at 1 o'clock. So you got instant access, simple as that, but you get confirmation from Kajabi, which is where the training platform's on. which is fine. What I would suggest, if you're not looking now, is as you approach your test, start looking so you know what's out there. Get a free 4 cars and then type it into a comparison website and see what the insurance is going to cost you. So that's what I would do. If you're not looking to get one now, just literally month of December, 20 out of 20. We haven't even done number 20 yet, but that's confidence for you. Yeah, so as you approach your test, just literally think about 2-3 cars that you would like to drive or own, and then just jump on a comparison website so you've got an idea of what you're letting yourself in for, because the expense doesn't stop at driving lessons. It starts after that, because cars aren't cheap and the running cost isn't cheap. You guys are going for C. Yeah. The other questions, the other follow-up question on the real test is who can use it, heavy goods, and what type of gradient, and it's uphill gradient. Okay, this is the lowest we've ever had. Only 4 categories. It's only a question about only 4 categories. Road signs 6. Hazard awareness 6. Vulnerable road users 5. Wow. As I said, but on your 50 questions, you should be drawn from all 14 to test your general knowledge on all 14 categories. But this is only 20 question marks. There's only 4 categories. So there you have it. All right, let's just finish up with these comments and I'll do a hazard perception. As I said, the police aren't going to... If you're driving on your own with L plates on, they may ask questions. Yeah, because you're on your own in the L with L plates on. So you're likely going to get stopped at some point. But you need someone... If you're going to practice, you can't practice on your own. You have to have someone next to you that's over 21 and have had the license for at least full license for at least 3 years. So if you're talking about practicing on your own... there's nothing I can advise you with that, just other than don't do it. But if you're talking about practice with somebody else, that's the criteria. Over 21, 3 years, full license, and have L plates on, and make sure the car's insured for you to drive as a learner driver. All right, so hazard perception, because there's a few of you, I don't know if they're still here, but a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. For those of you that don't know, I know some of you are newer here, the hazard perception, if you was taking driving lessons or your driving test, is the equivalent of you checking the mirrors. That's what the hazard perception is. See a problem, check mirror. Problem, check mirrors. Every time you are clicking on the video, you're technically checking the mirror. What you're looking for, anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So when you're watching a video, you want to be thinking, will that make me turn my steering wheel left or right to avoid it? If the answer is yes, you want to click twice, and I'll explain it in a minute. If it's going to cause you to slow down, will it make me go for my foot brake? Yes, click twice. And what I mean by twice is you see the problem, you click, and then you go 1, 2, and then you click again. So you should be clicking 2 times per problem. Now on the videos, it says as soon as you see the problem, you want to click as early as you can because you get the highest score. What they're not telling you, if you click too early, you're going to get a 0. It's not about clicking for the problem. It's about getting a score for the problem. And let me explain that. You can see the problem, click too early or too late, and you're going to get a 0. But you still saw the problem, you still click like the video told you to. What you're trying to do is make sure you get a score for that problem. If you don't get a score, you're going to fail. So your ultimate goal is to make sure you get a score for the problem. And the way to do that is make sure you click twice. That way, if the first click's too early, the second one will land in the 5 or the 4. If the first one landed in the 5, the second one lands in the 4, the 3, they're always going to give you the highest mark. They're not going to downgrade you. So there's no benefits in clicking once. Lots of benefits in clicking twice, but no benefits in clicking once. So that's the reason why I suggest you go for 2 clicks per problem. If you want to go for 3 clicks, then go for 3 clicks. As long as you click on things that exist in the video. If you click on random stuff that doesn't exist, or what I mean by that, that would never cause you to slow down or change direction, it can add up to too many. That's why some of you, when you're asking me in the emails, well, how many clicks you allow, that's the wrong way of thinking. You don't count the clicks per video. You count just the 2 clicks per problem. And that's what you want to do, because if you're clicking on stuff that exists, it's never, I repeat, never going to add up to too many clicks. Yeah, please do, and good luck with it. Wednesday, right? So good luck with it on Wednesday. The other thing as well, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Just make sure you are hydrated before you go in, because most centres, I know someone said they was allowed to take water in last week, I think they said, and maybe that's because the weather, how the weather was, I don't know, but technically for security reasons they don't allow you to take water next to you by the computer. So just make sure you're hydrated before you go in. How can we know if we click early twice or we click at the right? How can we know if we click early twice? First of all, every time you press the mouse button, it registers a click. As long as the mouse button goes down, there's no, when you go for the real test, there's no cursor. Because when you do it on your apps, there's no cursor. You just tap on the screen. So it's the equivalent. You just sit back in your seat when you take the test. I don't know if you guys can't sit here. So I've got the mouse here. So all you do is sit back and you just literally click 1, 2, click, and it registers. So you're never going to know if it's too early or too late. But I repeat, if you click on problems that cause you to slow, let me get rid of this, problems that cause you to slow down, then you should be hitting 5s, 4s, 3s at the worst. But if you don't, then obviously it's going to be a problem. But also practice. That's what practice at home is, because you're practicing your art. So if you guys are getting low scores at home, when you click, what you should be doing is reviewing back to see how you can improve. Because even if you got a 5, you still look back. So when I do like my videos and whatever it is, and I still practice as perception, because I need to keep my eye trained in. I just look back. So even if I got a 5, I don't say, oh, I got a 5, that's it. I still look back at the video. Was it a high 5, a middle 5, or a low 5? And see how I can tweak it and how I can improve. So practice at home. Getting low scores at home is not a problem. It's improving the scores. The score matters when you go for the real test. That's when it matters. Even when you're failing questions at home, it doesn't matter, because you should be learning from that. What matters is when you take the real test. That's what counts. You failing at home, it's not costing you £23. So if you're talking about how do you know, so let me put this back up. If you're talking about how do you know at home, review it back. I'm going to show you in a minute. But if you're talking about a real test, you won't know until you come out. And that could be too late. Yeah, it's funny because we had a downpour. It's just like a shower for about 15 minutes here. I'm in Luton. So we had that. The sun is now actually shining really bright out. But yeah, just like I said, just keep yourself hydrated anyway on the day. Because you want that brain to be in its finest. I simply hope you do. It's too far on practice on phone, but real test is too close. These are what giving me concerns. How can I overcome? You don't know what hazard is. If it's too far practice on the phone, but real test is too close, you don't know what hazard is, because a hazard is a hazard. It makes no difference whether it's on the phone, or maybe a bit harder to see on the phone, but it still makes no difference. If you're not getting the 5s and 4s, you don't know what a hazard is. That's what it really comes down to. Because if you know what hazard is, the clicking's gonna, and you may be clicking it. I'll show you on the video. Let me, rather than talking, let me show and demonstrate. Before I do that though, I want to always do this and show my iPad. My iPad's not showing up. Plug back in. There we go. Right, so let me just quickly show you this first, because I like to do this every week, so you guys understand how your theory is going to relate to your driving. This is a driving test report sheet that when you take your driving test, the examiner's got on his lap, and he's ticking every box every time you make a mistake of some kind. So I said to you the theory test is about, at the beginning of this live, I said to you the theory test is about the questions, controlled outcome, safe outcome. So the left hand side of the sheet is controlled. That's basically, but if you go to box 12, that's where it matters the most. Your gas, your clutch, your gears, foot brake, hand brake, and steering wheel. Those things actually control the car. So if you talk about coasting, why is coasting a bad driving technique? It's a lack of engine braking. That's where coasting will come in. It's actually a gear fault because you've got the clutch down for too long. But anyway, the theory side of it is the middle section and the right hand section. So we had road and traffic signs, 6 road and traffic signs. So if you look at box 17, traffic signs, road markings will come into that. I mentioned traffic lights, the colours, the order, green at the bottom, amber in the middle, red at the top. Traffic controllers will be the signs you see with the police officers with the flat palm or flat backhand. That's where it comes in. You've got hazard awareness on that. That's going to be other road users. Junctions, someone asked me about junctions earlier on. So you're looking at approach speed, observation, turning left, cutting corners, that type of thing. Judgment, overtaking. We had the horse question for those of you that was here at the beginning. How should you overtake horses? Drive slowly, leave plenty of room. So that's where the judgment will come in. That's classed as overtaking when you're going past horses. Position, normal driving, always stay left when possible. Lane discipline. Pedestrian crossings, your toucan that came up today. Pelicans, puffins, and position, normal stops. If you remember one of the questions, again, for those of you that was here at the beginning, the zigzags. What does the zigzags mean? Shouldn't park. So when the examiner gets you to park up on the left, guess where he's looking for you not to park? Near a zigzag or on the zigzag. So position, normal stops. So that's your theory. That's why you need that knowledge for your driving lessons. That's what I said. If you cut corners on your theory test, you are going to pay for it on your driving lessons by having more lessons to fill in the gaps. But now we come to the hazard perception. Box 14. The hazard perception is the equivalent of you checking the mirrors. Every click is you checking the mirrors. So they're looking for you on your driving test to check your mirror before you signal, before you change direction and change your speed. Now on the video, you can't see the car signaling, so then don't worry about that. So it's all slowing down, changing direction. And that's what they're looking for. So now you know that. We go to hazard perception. I'll do the real life clips, which is poor quality. When you go for the real test, it is all CGI. They don't use the real life clips anymore because the failure rate was really high on that because it was hard to see. And this has got no stars, so let's do this one. So I'll do a commentary drive so you know where I'm looking, why I'm going to click. So when you're watching the video, you want to scan the road from left to right. There's a car parked up on the left, so I can't be a meter from the left. I have to move to the right, change direction, check my right door mirror. A roundabout, nothing's really coming from my right, car's coming out to my left though. And you want to look on the video, when you're driving in real life, you want to scan the road as far as you can see. So the flashing lights with me, just the pelican lights. And you want to be scanning from left to right because road signs on the left. You've got the pedestrian on my left. I'm just going to click on that. Probably didn't need to be fair. Don't see nothing going on. Cars reversing out. And that's why you scan from left to right because the car was on my left coming out. But keep going because you don't know whether or not it's your double. Oops, 4 out of 5. So this is what I'm saying. Review it back to see how you can improve. So for the sake of the video, so what I'm showing you here, if you click on things that exist, it's not going to add up to too many. That car parked up on the left it's going to cause me to move to the right. So it's a mirror check. In real life driving, it's your main mirror. It's what I call the big picture, and the right door mirror, smaller picture. For your motorbikes, your Uber delivery drivers, your Uber Eats, sorry, the delivery drivers, riders. That's what you're checking for. So that's why I'm clicking on that. 2 clicks per problem. But just to speed it up. So I think it was a car reversing out. So I clicked for the pedestrian to the left. I didn't need to do that because I thought he's walking towards the lights. So that's why the 2 clicks are there. Then the car's coming out. I didn't see it until late. That's when I saw it. Can I see it any sooner? Probably, because the lights are on, the reverse lights. Just in case you didn't know, there's white lights at the back of his car which suggests he's reversing, but I didn't see that, so I'm going to be honest. So that's how I could improve. So it's literally just outside the 5. And that's the person who's asking me, how can you improve? How do you know when to click early, later, blah, blah, blah. That's how you do it. Just rewind the video back and kind of gauge, could I have seen it sooner? Because every time you work out, yes, I could have, the brain's learning and it's going to apply that learning to the next video until you're on point. And that's the whole point of reviewing it back. So hopefully that makes sense. Before we go any further, let me just check on the comments to make sure I'm not missing anything. Again, if you are talking about the real test, you won't know that. But if you have got it sorted, practiced at home, then it doesn't really come down to play on the real one because you know when to click. But for the real test, you don't know. There is no way of knowing on the real test. On the app, as you just saw, yes, real test, you don't. But I'm being honest. If you're going into the real tests wondering when to click at the right times and all the rest of it, should you be taking a test? That means you ain't comfortable with the hazard perception. You should be comfortable in not having to worry about it. The questions, yes, because you don't know what 50 questions you're going to get. But hazard perception, like as I just showed you, and I'm going to show you again, a hazard is anything to cause you to slow down or change direction. So with that guy near the traffic lights, technically it wasn't a problem. I thought it was on first glance. I still clicked for it. So if he was the problem, I still would have got my 5 and 4s. It makes no difference to me. But if you're not getting the scores, it's because you don't truly understand what a hazard is. And that's where you're going wrong. That's what you need to change. Not the terms of clicking. What is a hazard? Why am I not clicking when I see that hazard? That's what you need to tell your brain and work out. I think I've done that one. When I'm revising each topic for the theory test by doing practice questions. If you got your test tomorrow, first of all, I wish you luck with that. If you got your test tomorrow, you should be doing mock tests now, not categories. You're trying to train the brain to be mentally strong to answer 50 questions. So hopefully you are doing mock tests now. July the 10th. '17th, 24. It's more than enough time, but luckily I don't know what type of practice. But if you're doing topics, it's the right way of going. But at this point in time, with your test being tomorrow, you should be the topic should have been done and dusted, and you should be doing mock tests. Mentally train yourself to be mentally ready for 50 questions and has perceptions. How many clicks can you do to get a 0 since it doesn't show in the real tests? Lot clicking too many. So this is where, right, I'm going to just keep it simple. I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. I'm not going to waffle. I don't know how many clicks you're allowed before you get a 0. That's the wrong way of thinking. It's like saying, oh, I'm not going to leave my house today because I may get knocked over. It's the wrong way of thinking. Why don't you leave your house and just be safe? Watch when you're crossing the road. You should not be worrying about how many clicks you are doing to get a 0. What you should be doing is seeing the problem and clicking on the problems. If you click on the problem, it's never going to add up. to too many clicks to be a zero. But if you got that back of your mind, I can only click X amount of time, you're going to click X amount of time. Now, if the hazard, all right, I'll tell you what, I've seen this in the classroom. Let's say you allowed 10 clicks per video, right? Just say it was 10. Your friend told you can only click 10 times. You counted your clicks through the video and you click 10 times. But there's another 10 seconds left of the video and the hazard was at the end of the video. Guess what? You got a zero anyway. Not because you clicked 10 times, because you counted how many clicks per video. You don't know where the hazard is going to be, whether it's going to be the beginning, the middle, or the end. But if you click on problems that exist, it will never add up to too many clicks. So don't worry about how many clicks it counts as zero. Just worry about clicking on the problem. Change the brain, change the mindset. And on this video, let me just quickly go back to this video because I've still got it up. Share my screen. Let me take away. I clicked on a problem that wasn't a problem officially. Where was it? The guy walking towards this, right? This guy here, the way my eye saw it, you probably can't see it clearly. The way my eye saw it is walking towards the lights. He's going to push the button. That's why I clicked. It didn't add up. That's not a problem. It turned out not to be a problem. It didn't cause me to slow down. It didn't cause me to change direction. But in my head, I thought, you know what, that's like a problem because he's walking. It didn't add up to too many clicks. I'm not fast. And that's what you guys have got to stop doing. Stop worrying about clicking too many times and all the rest of it. If you know what a problem is, it cannot add up to too many clicks unless you are clicking 4 or 5 times for said problem. That's different. Fair Legion, welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for saying that. The one I just did is real life. I'm going to do CGI. Real life ones are harder to see. Hence why I thought the guy was crossing the road. But when you go for the real test, they're all CGIs. I hope you pass. I wish you luck with it. Please come back next week and let us know how you got on. Just don't do too many. You don't want to fatigue your brain. That's why you should be doing it leading up to your test, not the day before with that, because you can be mentally fatigued before you go in with the stress and the nerves. Right, let me do another one. So I'm going to do... Let me shut it down. Right, let me come out of it all together. So I'm going to do a CGI one because they're more clearer. You should still do both on your app. It just trains you to spot them. But on the day it's going to be CGIs. I think all of these have been done, so I'll just pick a random one. Let's do 4 stars on this one. So let me see if I can get 5. So scan the road ahead. Doors open on the van. So you want to be scanning left to right, right to left, because people can walk in between the cars. Road signs are on the pavement. I can't see nothing going on, so that's why I'm not clicking. There's a side road there. So there's people walking here on my right. I'm not sure if they're going to be stopping. I'm going to go for a 3rd click because I think I messed up. If you need to go for a 3rd one, go for a 3rd one. Again, it's not going to add up to too many. So it doesn't really matter. Just remember, get a score. That's all you want. I need a score of 3 or more per problem. I'm going to click for the bend. I can't see around the bend. This way is what if something is around there. Because when you're driving, you slow down for the bend, accelerate out. 5 out of 5. So the last one I got 4 out of 5. This one I got 5 out of 5. So there's an improvement. Again, let me just speed it up for the sake of the video. So I was looking at the side road. There's nothing there. That's why I didn't click. Then I look to the right, see the pedestrians. I don't know if they're going to cross behind the van. I don't know if they're going to come around the corner. So what if they cross? Check mirror, slow down just in case. That's the reason why. So you're slowing down. A hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. These guys are going to make me slow down. I don't know what they're going to do. I went for 3 clicks as well. So there's my third one. So one's in the 5, one's in the 4, one's in the 3. They gave me the highest mark. I'm not counting my clicks. I'm just hitting the problems because it would never add up to too many clicks if I click on problems. If I start to click on the side road, for example, the road to my left, there's nothing there. That could add up if I start to do all the side roads when there was nothing there. But there's nothing there, but there is pedestrians to my right. And that's the reason why you do not count how many clicks per video. You don't need to. That's a waste of brain power, especially when you're stressed. So hopefully that makes sense. So those of you that are counting clicks, change your mindset. You're wasting brain cells on that. Just trying to click, count. Because you've got to do 2 clicks per problem. Let me come out of that. You've got to do 2 clicks per problem, and then you've got to keep a track of how many clicks you've done per video or this video. That makes no sense. I'm going to show you something. Let me do something for you guys before I sign up. What's the time? 12:03. 1 o'clock. I've got to start. Okay. Thank you. You're the best, and you like helping people to pass. Yes, I do. That's true. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate the videos that helped you. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know. You guys don't really know how much I appreciate you guys actually chiming in and saying thank you that you passed, because it means I'm doing something right and I'm helping. So when you guys come to the live sessions and actually say that you've passed, it means a lot. It means a lot you being here, first of all, but it still means a lot that you pass it, especially people that don't come to live on a regular. Yeah, once you understand what hazard is, hazard perception is easier. It's easier at the 2, the questions and obviously hazard perception. The reason for it, because the questions, it's random. You don't know what 50 questions you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get questions that you have never seen on the app before. So that's why it's harder. That's where the focus needs to be. The hazard perception. Now, once you understand, slow down, change direction is what you're looking for, it becomes easier. And that's how you have to look at it. But the questions is always going to be the tricky part, because you don't know what 50 questions you're going to get. Right, so let me do something. I'm not going to show you what I'm talking about. Let me... Oh, it's not let me sign out. Right, I've got to shut it down and come back. Right, so I'm going to show you why you shouldn't count your clicks. What do you do this one? Right, so I'm just going to click on stuff that could be a problem. So I'm going to click on stuff that could be a problem, that was a problem, and we'll see what happened at the end of the video. Right, so I'm clicking on random stuff that I should not click on, but we'll do that and we'll see. And this is why you don't need to count your clicks. Right, speed limit. I don't want to speed up if someone's about to overtake me. Brake lights. If he's slowing down, I need to slow down. So again, scan the road, left to right, right to left. The blue shop, give way line. There's nothing there, but I'm going to click on it anyway. The road to my left, petrol station to my right. No cars coming out, but I'm still going to click anyway. Black and white poles in the distance suggest zebra crossing. Click. Is anyone near the crossing? A woman in the blonde hair. So that's the problem. That's caused me to slow down. So all the other clicks were red herrings. And then just after the bus stop, there's a side road, so I'm going to click on that. Nothing there, but I'm going to click anyway. Didn't need to, but I'm going to click. So I don't know how many clicks that is. We'll work it out in a minute. Still got 5 out of 5. It didn't kick me out. So why are you counting your clicks? I clicked on things that did not exist, by the way. And I'm going to show you back in the video. So speed limit, yes, because it says 30 miles an hour, which means we're in the 20 zone. I don't want to speed up if someone's going to shoot past me, especially a bike, and fill the space. That's the reason why I clicked. Brake lights. If he's slowing down, then I may need to slow down. So that's why I clicked. They're all legit clicks, by the way. So now we come to the shop on the corner. There's nothing there. There's no cars coming out, so there's no reason for me to slow down, but I clicked anyway. So the road to my left and the petrol station to my right. No cars coming out, but I still clicked anyway. Black and white poles, that's a potential problem because of zebra crossing. And this is why you go for 2 clicks, by the way, look. My first click was too early. My second click landed in a 5. That's the black and white poles. Now I'm looking to see if anyone's nearby. The woman in the blonde hair, different problem, right? The black and white poles is one problem. The woman is a different problem. And there's 2 clicks. That's 3 clicks in the scoring pattern, but I still got 5. And then the last click, I think, was the side roads beyond the bus stop. I'm going to pause it there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That'd be 14 clicks for that video. And it didn't kick me out. So my question to you is, why are you counting the clicks? That's a waste of brain power. Because like I said, you're clicking twice per problem, and then you've got to still keep a track of how many clicks you're doing per video. Whatever your mind tells you, I can only click 10 times. So you've got to keep track of the 10 clicks. That's a lot of work that I don't think you should be doing, that you don't need to do, as I just proven just said. So if your mindset is how many clicks are you allowed per video, you need to change that. So hopefully that answers all the questions of when to click, how to click, clicking too many times, blah, blah, blah. And practice. I didn't, please, my phone went off when you gave answer to how many times do we click to get 0, since it doesn't show. There, I think I've answered that with that just demonstration. Do we need to click even if the pedestrians are walking nice on the pavement and no indication? No, you don't. It's only if they're walking near the edge that suggests they're looking to cross. If they're looking over their shoulder, so if they're walking away from you and you're driving, so they're you're behind them and they're looking over their shoulder, that's an indication they're looking to cross the road. So yeah, click on that. But if they're behaving, is what I call it, nope, don't need to. Sharon, you are welcome. Hopefully you come back, first time today. Hopefully you come back. Sometimes app tells me that I've got 0 because of too many clicks. That was why I asked. If you're, like I said, can you click too many times? Yes. I'm not saying you can't. But what I'm saying is, if you click on the problem that exists in the video that they're expecting you to click on, i.e. anything to cause you to slow down or change direction, it's never going to be too many unless you're going for 5, 6 clicks per problem. Because think about it. If there's 4 problems on the video and I'm clicking 6 times for each one, there's 24 clicks. It doesn't add up. 24 clicks for 4 problems. The ratio doesn't add up. As far as they're concerned, you're kind of spamming. But I repeat, if you click on things that exist, it cannot and will not be too many times. So if you got too many clicks, and the video's told you that, there's 2 ways of looking at it. And obviously I don't know unless I saw your stats. One, that you are clicking on things that don't exist, so you add it up throughout the video. And the other one is you're clicking too many times for the one problem. So where I'm saying to you, can go for, I teach 2 clicks per problem. If you have to go for 3 clicks, that's going to be fine. But if you're doing 4 or 5 clicks for one problem, they're going to be thinking, well, where's that come from? That's technically spamming. And that's where the zeros come from. So it's only 1 or 2 reasons. You click too many times overall for the whole video, or you're clicking too many times for the one problem. And that's spamming. And also when you go for the real test, if you spam, they're going to kick you out. And if you click what they call a rhythmic pattern, so if you try to think, hold on, let me cheat the system and just do 1 click, 1, 2 click, 1, 2 click, 1, 2 click, all the way through the video, they're going to see it as a pattern, and then they're going to kick you out and give you a 0. So that's the reason why you probably got a 0 on that. But like I said, without seeing the way you're clicking, it's hard to say. But that's the 2 common reasons. Please, could you tell me how many times we need to click to get 0? Since see, you asked me, I'm not even going to answer that because I think I've answered that too many times. because how many times we need to click to get a 0? Why do you need to click many times to get a 0? Just do 2 clicks per problem. It's problem solved and you don't get no zeros. When I see more one hazard in the video, I'll click a few less times for each one. When I see more one hazard in a video, I click a few less time for each one. You shouldn't be doing that, because each time you get less, the hazard could be the one you're getting less on. That's why you need consistency. 2 clicks. If you're going to go for the 3 clicks, you need to be consistent throughout the video. So if it's 3 clicks for one problem, 3 clicks for the next problem, if that's the way you're going to teach, so if that's the way you're going to click, if you're going to go for the 3-click method, if you go for the 2-click method, if you watch my videos on the hazard perception, my videos are consistently 2 clicks, never see 1. You may see 3 because it's about getting a score, but you would never see me just do 1 click, boom, leave it. It's always going to be 2 per problem, minimum. And that's how you want consistency. But you can't turn around and say, well, I'll start off with 4 clicks on this problem, and as you go through the video, I'm going to do 3 clicks, I'm going to do 2 clicks. Because when you go into 2, that could be when you need the 3. So be very careful. It's consistency. But like I said, if you understand what a hazard is, it will be consistent. It's when you don't know what a hazard is, you're fumbling in the dark. And that's why you guys are asking about zeros, and that's panic and freaking out. If you take my advice, what I say about the questions, understand the questions, understand the answers, understand the hazard perception, then you don't have to worry about zeros. But talking about zero so many times, that's just panicking and freaking out. And that normally means you don't understand what the hazard is. If you understand what a hazard is and when to click, whether you get it right or not, it's irrelevant. As long as you understand, because that's improvement, that's learning. But if you don't understand it or when to click it in terms of certain situation, that's panic, and that's why you talk about zeros too much, because zero is not relevant. Hopefully that makes sense. But like I said, all of you that's thinking about clicking too many times and getting zeros, change the mindset. Because if you don't change the mindset, the chance that you're going to go and fail it anyway, because your mind is worrying about clicking too many times. So your brain's not going to allow you to click the right amount of times. If that makes sense. Yeah, I understood. It could be more than one, but what I'm saying, you shouldn't be going less. As I said, if you click 4 times for the first few problems, you shouldn't reduce your clicks going through to the videos. You want to be choosing a method, whether it's a 2-click per problem or 3-click per problem, and you keeping that consistently through the video. That's what I was trying to say. You should never be reducing the amount of clicks as you go through the video. But that's the last comment. I'll see you on there. One thing I will say is this: you're at home, you're practicing. That's the whole point of practicing, by the way. You're practicing to get better. So if you're making a lot of mistakes, you make mistakes, as long as you learn from it. For those of you that's talking about zeros and all the rest of Miriam comes to mind, practice what I just showed you. If you have to watch the replay back, rewind this video when it goes when it stays on YouTube, because I don't take them down. Just rewind it, practice at home, and if you still got problems and issues, come back next week with the problem, explain to me what that problem is, and I'll try to clear it up for you. But the one thing I will suggest you do is stop worrying about getting zeros. You need to get rid of that from your mind. That's brain power being burnt for no reason. So practice. If you still got issues, come back next week and let me try to solve that issue for you. But you can start to solve it by just saying, you know what, I'm not worried about getting zeros. Let me just click on issues that concern me. Right, that's the last comment. I'm going to grab something to eat and join the study camp group at 1 o'clock. So, for those of you got a test coming up, I wish you the best of luck with that. Come back next week, let us know how you got on. Enjoy the rest of your week. And most importantly, stay safe so I can see you next week. And good luck to all of you that's got tests coming up. Have a good day. See ya.